Welcome back, everybody, to the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show 20. And today we got a lot to cover. At the end of last episode, we were pretty much at the end of June, and I recorded it, and I was going to edit it, and the video was, all messed up. So, I couldn't really upload. I was going to upload it yesterday, and then the video screwed up, so I couldn't. So then I had to record this, and we would have to upload it today. So, before I talk about what happened in the episode that didn't get recorded, I do want to go over one of the games that happened in Sim. This 16-0 win against the Cardinals, where Mitch Keller pitched a no-hitter. Keller almost went 8 innings, did not allow a single hit. Unfortunately, Michael Givens did come in. He allowed a base hit, so the Cardinals got 1 hit, but Mitch Keller alone did not allow a single base hit, and he has been on a tear the past month. So we ended up at this Chicago Cubs series, and this was obviously a big deal because we've been in a close division race with the Cubs, and we swept them. A 4-game set, we won all 4. We played this first game, ended up winning it 4-0. Guess who was on the mound? Mitch Keller. He went a complete 9 innings for the Cubs. They had Diego Garcia start. He pitched quite well as well. The game was scoreless for a while, then bottom 6, Eduardo Escobar hit a 2-run homer, and then in the bottom of the 7th, Francisco Mejia hit a 2-run shot. So that's how we ended up winning the game. And then we ended up winning the other 3 games, which is really good to see. Now we really have full control of the division, not only ahead of Chicago, but also ahead of Milwaukee. So then we opened up July, had a series against the Red Sox, who has been really good this year. And we did quite well. We ended up winning 2 out of 3. The one game we lost, Keller was on the mound, but it's not his fault because he played against Chris Sale. Then we had another interleague series. This one was in Kansas City, a 2-game set. I sent the first game, played the second one. The second game ended up being really interesting. We won it 12-9, and our bats were just dominant. We were up 11-0 going into the bottom of the 7th. Joe Musgrove got the start in this one. And that's where things got kind of weird. Jorge Soler went deep for Kansas City, making it 11-1. Then in the 8th inning, something just clicked. They hit a 3-run home run early. I took Joe Musgrove out. I put Ryan Presley in. And then they proceeded to drop 5. So Presley pitched a third of an inning. He's been our most consistent reliever. He pitched a third of an inning, allowed 5 runs. Then we take him out for Manuel Colasa. He shuts the door. Ken Giles then shuts the door. So we allowed 8 runs in the 8th inning and still ended up winning, which is pretty crazy, but that just goes to show how well the bats ended up playing in this game. And the Royals just could not hit before the 7th inning to save their lives. Joe Musgrove was really cooking. And once the 8th inning came, obviously that's where things got a little bit ugly, but still a nice win nonetheless, even though Ryan Presley allowed 5 runs. And it feels like he's only allowed 5 runs all year going into this game. And then we had a 3-game set going on currently against the Mets. We are currently up 2-0. The second game against Jacob deGrom, DeGrom pitched a 1-hitter, a solo home run by Josh Bell, and that's all we needed to win. So now we got Game 3 of that series, the final game before the All-Star break, which we will go over today, get to see who's in the All-Star game, home run derby, stuff like that. So currently we are 5.5 games ahead of Milwaukee, 8.5 ahead of Chicago. We are playing our best baseball right now. We are really starting to peak, and it is showing. We have the best record in the National League by about 4 or 5 games, mainly because there are 7 or 8 teams in this conference that are all within about 6 to 7 games, which is really, really impressive. I made a few roster moves last episode. We sent Michael Franco and Jace Fry down to AAA because Franco was barely playing in the bigs, and Jace Fry was playing, but he was doing poorly, very poorly. Fry was sent down at one point last year to recoup. He did pretty well in the month he was down there, then recalled up and was solid to end the year. But if he's going to pitch like this, then maybe he's not a long-term piece in our organization. And I think if we do make a big move in the trade deadline, it's probably going to be for a lefty arm. We ended up going 1 player up from AAA. That was Edgar Santana. We'll talk about him a little bit more in just a second as we take a look currently at what the numbers are looking like. Brian Reynolds kind of cooling down, but still doing well. Eduardo Escobar has been insane the past couple of weeks. So has Josh Bell. He now leads the National League in batting average and is tied for home runs. So if it weren't for RBIs, he'd have a legit shot to win another Triple Crown. He obviously won that last year. And if he can get those RBIs up, I don't see him catching the guys at the top. I think Juan Soto has like 20 more than him. But still, if Josh Bell can continue to play this way, that would be something. Dylan Carlson has been great this year. As a rookie, he was solid last year. Then this year, he has really broken out. Currently hitting .303, 21 home runs, 70 RBIs. He's going to be an all-star this year, which I didn't fully expect to see. OPS hovering around 1,000. His potential is going up, so I'm really loving what I'm seeing right now from Dylan Carlson. Benny Lynch still playing well. He ended up winning Rookie of the Month for June, even though he didn't even play all that well. I think he hit like .230. Bo Bichette, the average is decent, but other than that, obviously, he is not having a great year at the plate or in the field. Francisco Mejia is still playing good ball. O'Neal Cruz, just like Dylan Carlson, a second-year player who's really broken out this season. Cruz not quite as good as Dylan Carlson, but still really, really solid numbers from O'Neal Cruz. He is progressing like crazy. +5 contact against lefties, +8 power against lefties, +3 contact against righties. He is really improving this season, and it's really fun to see one of these young, homegrown players develop in front of our very eyes. And then if you look at the bench, Kana's doing well. Brian Hayes starting to play a little bit better. Mitch Haniger's been solid. Yandy Diaz really good. Astudillo, not great, but he's the backup catcher. It's not the end of the world. Then you look at the rotation. Jamison Tyone is still cooking. Julio Urias has not been great the past couple months. Joe Musgrove has been great the past couple months. And when you look at these three guys at the top of the rotation, they're all very interesting because all of their contracts end after Season 4. We're currently in Season 3, so we got a year and a half to decide what we want to do with them. I'm not keeping all three. I'm going to pay one of them, maybe two of them, but we're not keeping all three. So we got to figure out who we would want to hold on to long term. And then the back end of the rotation, Jordan Yamamoto playing well. And then Mitch Keller's been the surprise of the season, currently sitting at a 2.48 ERA, 1.20 whip. I am shocked he's playing this well. Coming off that bad Season 1, didn't play all that great last year. And he has just, I don't know what's happened, but he has been an all-star caliber pitcher this year, pretty much out of nowhere, which is really, really awesome to see. So we definitely have a great future ace before Santiago Osuna, and then after Jamison Tyone kind of is in his prime, I guess. Then we look at the bullpen. Brandon Waddle's been kind of disappointing the past month or so. Michael Givens, decent. Manuel Colossi still trying to rebound from that awful start. Richard Rodriguez has not been great since he was called up, unfortunately. Ryan Presley's numbers are kind of down after the bad game. Edgar Santana has started his season off well. Edgar Santana is on the Pirates in real life. However, he was not on this roster, so I had to recreate him in the offseason. So technically, this is like his rookie year, but we all know it technically isn't. And then Kent Giles. Look at that whip. .81. That is sensational. So I wanted to look at the trade finder to look for lefty relievers, lefty closers. And there are some very enticing options. We're not going to make a move right now, but definitely closer to the deadline. Try to find a team who isn't playing all that great of baseball, unload a few decent prospects, and get a potential really good lefty arm for the pen. I think that's what this team needs. So here we go. Game 3 of the 3-game set in the Big Apple, taking on the New York Metropolitans. They are currently 53-43. Playing well this season, one of the better teams in the National League. Pirates currently 58-37, as we look at both lineups, 1-9. Regular starters in this one for Pittsburgh, as on the mound for the Mets would be Marcus Stroman. He is 5'7". He's tiny, but he pitches with heart, and he's a good player. 5-5, 4.33 ERA, putting up pretty much league average caliber statistics this year. Let's go top one. Here's Eduardo Escobar crushing a ball into right field. It will go over the fence, and Pittsburgh is quickly on the board. Escobar's been on an absolute tear the past couple weeks. Kind of started off a little bit slower than we were hoping for, but he has been great the past month or so. But on the bright side, Stroman is able to strike out Josh Bell. A nice pitch from the former Blue Jay ace, as on the mound for the Pirates will be their ace, Jamison Tyone, 5-5, 2.46 ERA, 1 whip. It seems like the bats normally don't play all that well when he's on the mound, but he has still been very good this season as he strikes out the catcher, Andres Gimenez. Here's Jeff McNeil now, 1-1 pitch. Hits that one deep into right field. Bell chasing after it. And as you can see, Josh Bell is not a prototypical right fielder. The Pirates are going to have to do something about Josh Bell playing in the outfield. Maybe they try to convert Benny Lane to third base, move Bell back to first in the offseason. That's probably a smart idea. And Josh Bell's blunder will cost a run as Pete Alonso, Polar Bear Pete, will single into center. This game is tied up at 1. Let's go to the second now. Francisco Mejia up at the plate. That'll be a 6-4-3 double play. The Mets infield is more chemistry than a science project as we go to the bottom of the second. Martin Maldonado going to strike out. Nice pitch from Tyone as we advance now to the third. 6'7", slender man, O'Neal Cruz, shopping camp over into right center field for extra bases. Cruz rounding second. The throw to third is going to be close, and they don't got him quite. O'Neal Cruz with the triple, his 7th of the year, which now leads the National League. Very impressive. Couple batters later, here's Brian Reynolds with a single in the center. Stroman wanted to deflect the baseball with his body. Doesn't work, and that's probably for the better of his health and safety. So it's now 2-1. There's Josh Bell striking out once again. Now Dylan Carlson is up at the plate, going to ground that one. The second baseman makes a play. However, he overthrows Alonso. Run headed home, and Reynolds is out. Nice play by the Mets to prevent a run, despite the bad defensive play as we go later. Now to the bottom of the third, Andres Gimenez is up. 5-4-3 double play. Pirates saying what you can do, we can do better. Let's go to the fourth now. Runner on for Francisco Mejia. He strikes out. Nice pitch from Stroman, trying to get into that groove. Here's J.D. Davis now with a runner on and one out in the bottom of the fourth. Gets that one past the left fielder Carlson. And now New York has a pair of runners in scoring position with just one away. That'll bring up Dom Thompson-Williams, who grounds to short. O'Neal Cruz probably could have tried to go home. Instead, he just makes the safe play, throws it to first, run scores. That's Jeff McNeil, as we are now tied at 2. Top 5 now, Eduardo Escobar, currently 2 for 2, going to make it 3 for 3. Single into center. Pirates got themselves a runner on and 2 outs for Josh Bell. He crushes that one into right, and it will stay fair for extra bases, as Eduardo Escobar will stay at third. So now Pittsburgh has a pair of runners in scoring position. 2 outs for Dylan Carlson. This is his opportunity to shine or get a weak fly out to Jeff McNeil and end the top of the inning. Not quite what you want to see from your all-star outfielder. That's fun to say. Dylan Carlson, all-star, kind of has a ring to it. Bottom 5, Martin Maldonado will strike out. Nice pitch from Tyone, who's really pitching well today. Andrew Benintendi now going to go down swinging, the former Boston Red Sox. So now here's Jameson Tyone in the 6th. 2 on, 2 outs. He strikes out. Interesting decision by the Pirates to keep him in rather than go for a pinch hitter. Bottom 6 now, Jeff McNeil going to open up the inning with a single. One of, if not the best contact hitter in all of baseball. Brian Reynolds might be saying, hold my beverage to that. Tyone does strike out Pete Alonso now with 2 outs. Runners on the corners for Brandon Nimmo. Hits that one deep into right center. Reynolds is there to make the catch. And this game will remain tied at 2 as we now advance to the 7th. A former Pirate, Dellin Betances, is in. Remember last year at the trade deadline, the Pirates acquired Betances from the Mets. Then Pittsburgh let him go in the offseason, and he finds himself back here with the Mets. He clearly liked it playing for this team. He has a thing for playing in New York, I guess, as he strikes out Reynolds and Escobar. Going to try to get the hat trick here with Josh Bell, and he's not quite able to do that. Josh Bell goes oppo-popo out into left. That's some revenge there. Bell doing that against his former teammate, even though Dellin Betances played like 3 games for the Pirates before getting hurt. That trade was a total waste for Pittsburgh. There's Billy Hamilton, going to strike out. He's great on the base pass. Problem is he can't get on base because he sucks at hitting. Ryan Presley now in here in the bottom of the 8th. He's going to strike out Jeff McNeil. Pete Alonso now up at the plate. He's just a winner shopper. Say it with me, kids, because he's just looking. Then going to finish off the inning, striking out J.D. Davis as we go to the ninth. Paul Sewell is on the mound in this one now for the Mets. His first batter of the game, O'Neal Cruz. More like, oh no, Cruz. Crushes it into right field. Second deck. Only 380 feet, though. It did go on the second deck. And now it is 4-2. Kent Giles will advance to the save. He's only blown one save all season. First batter of the inning is going to be safe at first. Bad throw from O'Neal Cruz, and now the tying run is up at the plate. Billy Hamilton up with 2 outs, full count pitch. Lines that one to short. O'Neal Cruz will make the play, and the Pittsburgh Pirates will finish off the first half of the season with a win by a score of 4-2. And I don't know what's gotten into this team the past, 3 weeks, but this Pirates team has been beasting. I'm not entirely sure of our win-loss in, this red-hot span, but we're just playing excellent baseball right now, and I am here for it. Here's a look at the box score. We hit the ball pretty well. 4 runs, 11 hits. Mets only got 4 hits. They scored twice in the loss. Stroman was decent, but not enough for the Mets to win. So now we're going to be looking at the All-Star festivities, starting with the Futures game, where we get to see some of the top prospects in action. I figured I'd show you both rosters. There are some names you may recognize if you follow minor league baseball or follow the series to see who's been drafted and such. We have 2 players representing our squad, and you can probably guess who those 2 are. The top 2 prospects of the organization, the first one being Santiago Osuna, the AAA starting pitcher. Osuna has been awesome this year. ERA hovering around 2. He is currently the number 4 prospect in all of baseball. Really, really good to see him continuing to progress. And then we also got one player in the lineup. You can probably guess who it is. Pablo Cairo. He's the only player who's not gassed, by the way. So that's fun. Cairo's been beasting in Double-A, and my plan with him is, even though he's probably Major League ready right now, I wanted to keep him in Double-A just so he can progress and just put up ridiculous numbers so his attributes can go up, and he's done exactly that. He will be Major League ready next year. I think he's going to be an everyday player next season. So we will be player locking with Cairo. Santiago Osuna isn't starting. He will likely get to pitch, but I figured I would just rather player lock with Pablo Cairo. I've played well with Cairo in the 2 minor league games that I've played so far, so I suppose that is encouraging. He also hasn't played Major League talent yet, so I guess there's that. Alek Manoah on the mound for the AL. He is with the Toronto Blue Jays organization. I think he's only a B potential, but he's also an 81 overall already. So here we go. Pablo Cairo up at the dish. 1-2 pitch, and he's swinging at the high heat. I was getting a little trigger happy. I thought it was going to curve down. I thought it was going to be an off-speed pitch, but I was wrong, and I decided to chase the fastball. Gotta do a little bit of defense if we're doing player lock, right? Here is Chris Sharp, a former member of our organization. We traded him back in Season 1. I want to say he was in the Emmanuel Clase trade. I could be wrong. Now let's go to the 3rd inning. We're up 1-0. Gonna make that 2-0. Pablo Cairo goes deep into right center. And that's off of Royals top prospect Chris Bubich, or Bubitz. I don't know really how to say that. So now it is 2-0 as we go to the 4th. Santiago Osuna is on the mound, by the way. This is the first time that Osuna and Cairo have actually played together since Cairo's been in Double-A all year. This is his first year with the organization. Osuna has spent the whole season in Triple-A. Now into the 6th. Ethan Hankins on the mound of the Cleveland Indians. He's going to strike out Cairo. The one problem with Cairo, I would say, is his vision. He strikes out a little bit too much, and his defense needs some work. But other than that, phenomenal contact, great speed, and solid power. So I was doing some quick manage. I didn't realize I had full control of the NL team, so I kept this pitcher in for too long. And because of that, we lose the game, which is kind of an oof, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. Pablo Cairo goes 1 for 3 with a solo shot, also striking out twice. So he was pretty good. Osuna allowed a run, didn't strike out any batters. Why am I not surprised? Santiago Osuna is really good. He just does not strike out batters, like, at all. And that's my one worry with him, potentially being a Major League starter next season, is that he just can't strike out players to save his life. So now to the home run derby. This is where things get fun. You can take a guess who's participating. Josh Bell. We've had Bell participate every season of this series. He won it back in Season 1 at Dodger Stadium. He won it last year at Turner Field. Or not Turner Field. At whatever the Braves are calling their park. It was SunTrust Park for a hot minute. I think they changed the name. Oh, well. So we're going to be using Josh Bell trying to get the three-peat. But it's going to be challenging because we're going up against guys like Yordan Alvarez and J.D. Martinez. Just look at these numbers. J.D. Martinez is hitting .375 right now. He's already matched his home run total from last year, which says something because he was an MVP candidate throughout last season. So J.D. Martinez and Yordan Alvarez are going to be really tough to beat. Martinez hits a home run every 10 at-bats, which is just insane. He's like a glitch in this game. Like, as good as Josh Bell has been, J.D. Martinez is on a whole nother level. So here we go. Camden Yards, home of the Baltimore Orioles. Shocker. The Orioles don't have any players in the home run derby because if you saw the Orioles roster last episode, you know they absolutely blow. So we're going to be facing off against Franmil Reyes. We are going against Jorge Soler in this first round. My bad. Jorge Soler has 99 power against lefties and righties. So that's fun. Other than that, he doesn't provide a whole lot of value. But since this is a home run derby, that power is going to be scary. So it's kind of hard to commentate home run derby. So we're just going to go with the flow here. Some years, some games, I'm really good at the home run derby, like this year. But other years, like last year, I was just really bad at the home run derby. I don't know why. Back in the Diamondbacks franchise, I think Season 2, Mike Moustakas was in the home run derby. I was garbage. I don't know why I'm just really good at the derby this year. But I am happy that we get to watch Josh Bell potentially win his third straight derby. Currently sitting at 9 home runs. Going to call time here. We've already unlocked the 30 seconds of bonus time. That ball was crushed. 426 feet. That one barely curved fair. But I'm really liking the direction of this Pirates baseball team right now. Obviously led by Josh Bell. He's our franchise player, but a lot of great young talent on this team. What I wanted to do going into this series was kind of build around in free agency a little bit. Not really in Season 1, but like Seasons 3, Seasons 4. Go after some big-name free agents because the Pirates generally don't spend a lot of money. However, with how much talent we have on this team, it's going to kind of be hard to do that, especially if I want Pablo Cairo to play every day next year. And where the starting rotation is, might be kind of awkward for us to really go after any big-name free agents. So we'll evaluate where we are in the offseason, but this team's in a weird spot. So Josh Bell does beat Jorge Soler in the first round. Bell finishes with 19 home runs. Going to be taking on Yordan Alvarez here in the second round. Luckily, we don't have to worry about J.D. Martinez. He loses to Christian Yelich. Yelich will be in the finale. So will he face off against Bell or Alvarez? Something interesting about this derby is Bell is one of the lower seeds. So that means we get to see the whole round from Bell. It's not that he has to beat like a specific number. Last year, he was the top seed in the entire tournament. So he only had to beat like a certain number. And then in Season 1, he was like the 6th or 7th seed. So we got to see full rounds from him, which I rather this because we really get to see what his true home run number would be rather than, oh, you have to beat 11 home runs. He has 12 and there's still a minute left. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But this way, now that he's a lower seed, we really get to see what his home run numbers would be for this derby. And I think if Josh Bell wins this home run derby, he has to be the greatest home run derby player in the history of Major League Baseball. I don't think anyone's won it twice, let alone 3 times. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. Has Prince Fielder won it twice? I should know that because Prince Fielder is my dude. But if, I can't imagine anyone's won the home run derby 3 times. I would also assume that Josh Bell has the most home runs collected in every home run derby combined ever. I think the current record might be Vlad Guerrero Jr., even though he's only played in 1. It's just that last year's home run derby in real life was absolutely ridiculous. So here we are near at the end of bonus time. Currently at 17 home runs. That's what Bell is going to finish with. Going to be a tough mark for Yordan Alvarez to beat, but Alvarez is a monster, so it's possible. and he ends up with 11. So Josh Bell will be advancing to the finale, taking on Christian Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers. Prop bet. Whoever wins the home run derby, their team wins the division. I'm going to say that. If let's hope Josh Bell wins it so I don't look stupid. And then if Josh Bell wins it, let's hope we win the division also so I don't look stupid. But Josh Bell's on an absolute roll right now. Currently 5 home runs within the first minute. And some of those early home runs in this round were absolute bombs. Here's a bomb, too. That one was crushed. This one into straightaway center. Doesn't quite have the distance. But let's talk about the Brewers for a minute. They were really good last season. They ended up winning the division over us by about 2 games. And even though we have like a comfortable, I think, 5.5 game lead right now, we still can't get too comfortable because the Brewers are a very good team. They're better than they were last year. They've added guys like Noah Syndergaard. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a move at the trade deadline. Christian Yelich is playing better this year because he doesn't really have to worry about contract situations. So the Brewers are in a better position now than they are last year. So I really wouldn't be surprised if they out us in this division. I don't think the Cubs are going to win it. They're just not good enough. I know I've been saying that since the start of this division race, but they're just not good enough on paper. Bell currently sitting at 18, going to make it 19 home runs as we advance to the bonus now we're advancing to the bonus time. Bell's highest home run total so far in this derby is 19. So now that he has 3:30 seconds to capitalize, he's going to finish with 21. I don't see Christian Yelich beating that. That one is deep. Might curve foul, though. Yeah, so we're going to simulate this. Josh Bell go back to back to back. Yes, he does. Christian Yelich with a really good round, hitting 16. However, that's not enough, and Josh Bell is now a 3-time home run derby champion back-to-back years. Shout out to Josh Bell, continuing to dominate, not just in the home run derby, but for your Pittsburgh Pirates as we now advance to the All-Star game itself. The past 2 years, we have player-locked Josh Bell because he has been our only starter. And spoiler alert, that's what we're going to be doing again. Only one pitcher, it's Ken Giles, who deserves it. Kind of upset that Tyon nor Keller made it. I think both of them had all-star caliber seasons. Francisco Mejia did not make it. That pisses me off. The Cubs did not need another all-star, so I think he could have easily made it over Wilson Contreras. The Phillies did, so that's why JT Realmuto's in there. But Francisco Mejia got snubbed for the 2nd year in a row, which sucks. Eduardo Escobar is also an all-star for us. He's going to be coming off the bench. And then, obviously, as I've been saying, Dylan Carlson is an all-star. So we finished with 4. Giles, Bell, Escobar, and Carlson. I think Mejia got snubbed. I think Tyon and Keller should have at least really been considered. And then that's about it. Got a few borderline guys like O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds. I don't think they're quite having all-star seasons, but they're both playing well. Here's a look at the AL. No real surprises. Hyun-Jin Ryu will be getting the start. That's interesting. So we're going to be player locking Mr. Josh Bell once again. Going to be hitting cleanup here. Going to be protecting Christian Yelich. That's kind of a tough duty. Yelich is one of the best in the business. Obviously, he made the final round in the home run derby, losing to Josh Bell. So here we go. Camden Yards for location. The Orioles do have an all-star second baseman, Chad De La Guerra. This is the 2nd straight year that he's been put in the all-star game just because the Orioles literally have nobody. They got nobody at all. They just suck. But good for Chad. He gets to show out for the home crowd today. So here we go. Josh Bell up at the plate. Runner on first base. 2 outs. Count is 0-2. He's going to strike out on the changeup. Nice pitch from Ryu. Josh Bell performs better against righties than he does lefties, so I suppose that's interesting. Now into the 3rd inning. The NL is up 2-0. But Josh Bell does unfortunately strike out once again. Now onto the top of the 5th. Bases are juiced. 3-0 now. Bell is going to ground out. Run will score. So Bell does get an RBI, and it's now 4-0. Now it's time for some defense. I know first base isn't a sexy position. But hey, Josh Bell actually gets to play the position he is natural in as he fields a grounder there. Josh Bell not used to first base. They could have had him as an outfielder, technically. Josh Bell was pinch hit for in the 7th inning. And the NL would end up getting the win by a score of 5-0. Bell drives in a run. Didn't really perform all that well, though. Struck out 2 times. The other at bat was a grounder. So I would say I was really more just curious at this point how the rest of the guys did. There's Eduardo Escobar celebrating with Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson and the Reds don't have a lot to celebrate about this year because they are not good. I don't think we've played the Reds this year in an actual game that I've played. Kind of want to face off against them within the next couple episodes. So here's a look at the box score. Dylan Carlson nor Ken Giles played. Giles, no big deal. He's a pitcher. He's been here before, but I wanted Dylan Carlson to play. Luckily, I assume this won't be his last time as an All-Star. He'll probably get more opportunities down the line. So now, before we end the episode, I do want to look at the minor league All-Star rosters. We're not going to play the games, but I do want to see the rosters. Currently, Altoona is 44-44. The Indians are 51-38. So for Double A, we're going to start with Double A. We have 2 starting pitchers, Barack Erzog and Quinn Priester. Both of them have been really good. A little bit disappointed that Felipe Benitez didn't make it. Also got Clayton Andrews in the bullpen, Leonard Iguchi, Bo Susler, Patrick Waldron made it. Waldron's been great the past month or so. Kind of sad Gaylord Dixian didn't make it. He's actually having a really good season. And then we look at the position players. Really not a lot of guys for us, mainly because this Altoona Curve squad is actually dominated by hitters. I'm kind of surprised that we have a bunch of pitchers. Israel Cuevas does make it, power hitting third baseman. Got Alexander Canario in there, the center fielder. Then obviously at right, shocker, we got Pablo Cairo in there. So now on to AAA. A little bit more exclusive club when it comes to the starters, and we have 2. Domingo Robles and Santiago Osuna, both of whom have been great. Robles has had a surprisingly dominant season. I want him in the majors next year, even if he's not starting. And then Osuna, I want him to start. Problem is, our rotation's really good. There's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, former member of our organization. He was part of the Leon Zastudio trade we made at the beginning of the season. And then the only position player we have on this roster is Travis Swaggerty, easily the best hitter on this roster. He'll be a major leaguer for sure next season. So the Indians are dominated by pitching. The Curve are dominated by hitting with a mixture of good pitchers. I'm surprised the Curve are only 500, but it is what it is. And then the Pirates are a mix of both. Great lineup, great pitching. That'll end the episode. Next one, we will kick off the second half of the season. Gonna be nearing the trade deadline soon. What are some moves you guys think we should make? Let me know in the comments. Have a good one. Peace out.